crafty friends, it's Andrea from Prairie Sky DIY, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Manitoba. Today we are creating this quilt look card front. Now it is a super easy technique. All you need is a 1-inch square of whatever color of designer series or pattern paper you want, and then 1/2-inch strips. This one I am using the Rain or Shine designer series paper. We've just got a few more days, actually, not even weeks, of this paper available in the catalog. So I've got a piece that I have already trimmed for my card front. My card front for this one is just a regular basic white, or my card base is basic white. And then I've got a 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 piece. So I'm just going to have just a teeny little white runaround, and my scrap piece here is a 4 by 4. So I've scored it in the center so that I can tell exactly where I want to put my 1-inch square, and that's what we're going to start with. So for me, it's just easier to go ahead and put my adhesive on before I start anything. I find that doing it this way is a little bit easier to make sure that everything sticks where it should. And then for our centerpiece, we're simply going to eyeball it and land each corner on a line, which should mean, in theory, fingers crossed, that everything is going to line up exactly right. So now I've got 2 strips of each pattern here. So I'm going to start with our yellow, and you basically butt it up to the first one and then just keep going around. Now you can cut or you can tear. I'm just going to tear because I find it easier. And I'm just going to use my fingers for this one. Mostly because I couldn't find my scissors. But if I need to straighten off the rows or straighten off the corners, I will. And then when we're done, we're going to go ahead and just trim it to size. All right, so we've got lap 1 done, and then we're just going to go ahead and alternate our rows here. So then we're going to do pink, pink. This is seriously one of the fastest techniques that I've done in a very long time. I love quick. Sometimes I like, the ones that take a little bit of time. Now, the last chance sale is continuing until May 1st, and then everything that's in the current annual and the current mini catalog will no longer be available. So if you see something that you think that you absolutely need to have, my advice is to grab it, because after the sale is over on May 1st, it won't be available unless it happens to pop up on the clearance rack. But nobody ever really knows when that's going to happen or what is going to appear on the clearance rack. So I finished our first round of these guys. So now I'm going to go back and add, I'm going to trim up the ends, and then we're going to go ahead and finish with our yellow. So I'm just going to bring in my paper trimmer here. So these were 12-inch by 1/2-inch strips. You can use whatever size you want, and you can even use whatever size you want for your base. It doesn't have to be a 4 by 4. I just wanted to do that size just to make it a little bit easier on myself. The last one that I did, the sample that I showed, was 3.5 inches. Okay, and then this, and then we're gonna bring this guy. And then you can see I've just got these teeny tiny little bits left. So I'm just gonna bring in the pink. Whoops. I think I need need a little bit more adhesive on that end. There we go. Probably stuck. Oh, shocker. I didn't stick myself to my work surface. You never know what's going to happen in this craft room, right? And then there's our last. Oh, need a little bit more adhesive on this one. There we go. And then we're going to stick this guy down. And then bring our handy dandy paper trimmer back in. I don't think I'm going to put a sentiment on this one just because I don't know who I want to give this card to yet. Okay, so we've got 4 inches. We're going to line it up on the 4-inch and trim. I also just got my pre-order box of goodies, so I am going to open that up right quick. Probably tomorrow, maybe, depending on what's going on. I'll hop on and I'll do a Facebook Live in my group. So there is our card base. I've got all of these little scrappy bits. Now, these ones are destined for the scrap bin. They're too small to create anything with. Actually, this card was created with scraps from my bin. On Sunday, I do a do it or ditch it, where I post on Facebook and people can vote whether or not I create a card or if the scrap pile goes into the recycling bin. All right, so we're just going to, you know what, this needs a little bit of something behind it. What are we going to put behind it? Maybe a tiny little bit of green. This is going to be literally the smallest piece of green. I'm not even sure what color I grabbed. I think this is garden green, but I'm not 100% sure. So 4 1/8. I never measure in 8ths, but I just want a tiny little bit of something to make it pop. I don't even think that this garden green is one of the greens that are in this paper pack, but it does tie in with the flowers, and it's just enough so that it kind of pops off the back a little bit. I'm gonna do, we're gonna do it flat today. So we're to put our adhesive on the back. Oops. Put this guy up here. And then we're gonna grab our rhinestones with our take your pick tool. And then, you know what, I'm just going to do the corner of our square just to kind of bling it up a bit and give it a little bit of an interest point. If you wanted to, you could absolutely run it through an embossing folder to give it a quilted look. Or you could do, I don't know if you can see on this one, I just ran it through my trimmer with the score tool, and I scored it at 1/4 inch vertically, and then again 1/4 inch horizontally. So, yeah, I think I'm going to hold off and not put a sentiment on this one because I don't know what I want to use it for yet. It could be a bridal shower card. It could be a baby card. It could be pretty much anything you put your mind to. As always, thank you so much for spending a little bit of your day with me. I truly do appreciate it. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you're notified every single time a new blog or a new video goes live. And be sure to sign up for my email as well. I've got all kinds of tips and tricks and ideas and secrets in store for the next little bit, especially as our new 2023 Stampin' Up! Catalog is going live. I will see you again really, really soon. I hope you try this technique.